to the channel. I'm Ricky Myers, and you have landed on the USS Action Thriller Collector. So come on inside, grab your cup of coffee. I've got mine. In fact, I don't know if you can make that out. This one is from Macon, Georgia, the Big House. And the Big House is the Allman Brothers Museum. If you ever get a chance to go to Macon, Georgia, I highly recommend that you check this museum out. It was like a miniature rock and roll Hall of Fame. There was so much stuff packed into that house. Anyway, cheers. Come on in. Today we are talking about my most recent haul where I picked up 7 DVDs and 2 books in beautiful downtown Herndon, Virginia at the Goodwill. And man, you can get so much at the Goodwill, and Salvation Army I think is even better prices there. But 7 DVDs, 2 books, a whopping $13, right? That's how can you not be a collector when that's what it costs? $13. That's just one less #1 meal with a Coke, right? And we can all use one less #1 meal with a Coke. Well, let's get into this before this video runs too long. And we're gonna start out, first item I picked up right here, Brad Taylor, All Necessary Force. This is came out in 2012, and it is the #2 book in the Pike Logan series. So first printing on that one. One that's not a first printing is Kiss the Girls by James Patterson. And I don't read a lot of James Patterson. In fact, there's only 2 that I have collected, either movies or books, and it is Kiss the Girls, you know, detective matching wits with serial killer. That's always going to be right there in my wheel well. And the other one is Along Came a Spider, for its ties to the Secret Service. And during my 35-year career in the military and law enforcement, I worked with the Secret Service several times. I worked with them in the Marine Corps up at Camp David. And then as a police officer, I worked in a dignitary protection unit, so I did a lot of work with Secret Service then. And then later, towards the end of my career, when I was with major crimes as a detective, I also worked on a task force from the Secret Service for fraud. Anyway, a lot of ties to the Secret Service, so that book interested me. Now, we're gonna go to the first DVD, and it is Windwalkers. There's glare on there, isn't there? Windwalkers, a Marine Corps story of the Navajo code talkers back in World War II. Next up is American Gangster with Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington. That's back from 2007, directed by Ridley Scott. Can't go wrong with that one. And next, we have Flight. I'll try to keep the glare out of these. Flight of the Phoenix with Dennis Quaid. And I was looking at this, and I have actually not seen this movie. So this is going to be one of the first ones that I watch out of this crew, because I think I've seen everything else that I have here today. But it's always good to get something that you haven't seen. Next up, The Interpreter. And that's from 2005, directed by Sidney Pollack, starring Sean Penn and Nicole Kidman. Actually met Sidney Pollack, the director of this. Rest in peace. He's been gone now for several years, but very nice guy. Next up is Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit, from the Jack Ryan universe. This one came out in 2014, stars Chris Pine. And you guys know this. Chris Pine is the son of Robert Pine. And Robert Pine, you may remember, played Sergeant Cottrell on Chips back in the 80s. Okay, next up is Hunted. And Hunted came out in 2003, and you got one of my all-time favorites in there, Tommy Lee Jones and Benicio del Toro. Great movie. The Hunted. And last but not least, we have something from James Bond. We have Casino Royale from 2006. This would be Daniel Craig's first go at being James Bond. So that's what I picked up for $13, all of that. 2 books, 7 DVDs, $13. What about you? What have you added? What's the most recent thing that you've added to your collection? I'd like to know, so drop it down in the comments. And until next time, happy collecting, guys. See you next time.